parang nakita ko rin na the best way to lead is really to lead by example. Kung ikaw yung pinakamasipag, masipag rin yung mga kasama mo. Kung ikaw, you respect everybody, they will also respect the people around them.
Ano yung habit na meron si Senbam? Kunyari, on a daily basis.
On a daily basis,
nangyayari?
I wake up very early, so I'm a morning person. You really have to work hard, no? You won't get anywhere kung natatakot ka magtrabaho or ayaw mo magtrabaho, you really won't get anywhere. You know, sa TikTok, one of the top parang areas, 'di ba kasi marami iba't ibang area o ano yan, 'di ba? Parang topics.
Yes.
Yung isa sa top sa TikTok sa Pilipinas is about handling money.
Hi, welcome to Build Different, a leadership podcast where we strive to learn to build ourselves better through the different stories that we feature on a weekly basis. My name is Jazz Bretyongson, your host for this episode. Now, imagine a world where the government is ran by the youth. How would it look like? Now, if the youth is actively woke, industrious, and participative early on in making our world a better place, just like our guest for today. And of course, if they are beneficiaries of the laws that he has passed, then I think we have the most formidable youth government. Well, it's not a lost cause, guests and people joining us right now, because our guest for today continues his plight to dreaming and making things happen as a senator of our beloved country. Today, we have the honor of hosting a remarkable leader whose dedication to empowering Filipinos through education, entrepreneurship, and employment has left an indelible mark on our nation. A former youth leader and social entrepreneur, he has championed 19 laws that continue to uplift and inspire. Let us all welcome one of my personal heroes, ang ama ng libreng kolehiyo, Senator Bam Aquino. How about a big hand from the studio? Ayan. Senator, thank you so much for making time.
Of course.
Sobrang busy natin.
Salamat.
And of course, we are grateful also that somehow medyo napagbigyan mo kami.
No, of course.
At alam ko naman mapagbigay ka. Kaya, my first question, given that this one is a leadership podcast, is how would you describe yourself as a leader?
Alam mo, through the years, nagbago rin yan eh. Nagbago rin yan. Maybe it also changes with age. I think when I was much younger, when I was in my 20s, hyper-focused. You know, talagang tawag sa akin noon, slave driver. Alam mo yon? Yung medyo talagang you push people and you push the agenda as much as you can. But as I've grown older and siguro a little bit hopefully wiser, di ba? Parang nakita ko rin na the best way to lead is really to lead by example. Yung mga tao na kasama mo, importante rin yung kanilang kalagayan, because if you have a functioning team, you will be able to get the goals that you want to get. No, it's not just about you, diba? So I think that's really one way that nagbago rin yung leadership style ko. Ngayon, you sort of look at the organization also. You try to make sure everybody is also healthy, you know, body, mind, and spirit. I always tell the people in my team, you know, at least when I was in the Senate, sabi ko lagi, you know guys, pangalan ko lang yung nasa pinto. Pero everything we do here, all of the laws that we make, all of the good programs that we make, this is a product of everyone, hindi lang ako. No? So that kind of mindset, I think, has changed through the years. But again, it's really, you lead by example. Kung ikaw yung pinakamasipag, masipag rin yung mga kasama mo. Kung ikaw, you respect everybody, they will also respect the people around them. Now, if it's the reverse, kung ikaw yung tinatamad-tamad, talagang tatamad-tamad rin yung mga tao. Kung ikaw, hindi mo nire-respeto yung mga tao, they also won't respect other people. So, what you want to see in other people, you have to show it yourself, di ba? And for any goal, most goals in our life, hindi mo siya makakamit na mag-isa. It's really up to the people that you're around, no? And there's a level of humility there, understanding na even if you're the leader, even if like right now, you're campaigning for me, di ba? Even if it's your name there, hindi lang siya dahil sa iyo eh. It's because of everybody else around you as well, no? So I hope the people in my team, they also feel that, nafe-feel nila yon, di ba? Gumagano naman sila, di ba? Kunyari.
Approve
kunyari.
naman. But I like it how it has evolved for you also.
Oh,
And I think it
yeah.
really takes a lot of experience. So speaking of experience, I think let me go back to, say, sabi kasi ni Plato, di ba? Yung kaibigan natin na si Plato. Character is simply habit long continued, di ba?
That's true.
So, allow us, probably, pwede bang makita namin or let us know paano, how is it daily for you? Like, routine, habit. Kasi diba, ano yung habit na meron si Senbam? Kunyari, on a daily basis.
On a daily basis,
nangyayari?
I wake up very early. So, I'm a morning person. These days, I wake up at 5:30. Kasi we have to travel. Or sometimes, may mga interviews. We try to catch the prime time ng umaga sa radio. That's about 6 a.m.,
Yes.
right? So, I'm a morning person. So, way back when, guys, 20 plus years, hindi naman 20 plus, 21 years ago, I was a morning show host.
Yes,
So, doon ako
yes.
nasanay waking up early. And I try to wake up early and not go so late. Oo. So, yun yung isang habit. Another habit is I try to prepare before meetings, before interviews. Of course, nung time ko sa Senate, before session, talagang kailangan prepared ka. I guess kung if you've been doing this a long time, you can sort of get away with it na hindi ka ganun ka-prepared.
Right.
Pero in my mind kasi, you show respect to the office
True.
and to the people that support you and the people that you're supporting, you show respect to them by preparing and by working hard.
That's right.
The third thing, ito naman work ethic lang. You really have to work hard. No? You won't get anywhere kung kung natatakot ka magtrabaho or ayaw mo magtrabaho, you really won't get anywhere. Kailangan handa ka talaga magtrabaho. And so I like it when people are working. They're doing their tasks, they're building up to something bigger. I also make sure na every single person in the organization knows what they're supposed to do, and they should know that what they're doing builds up to something bigger or to the bigger goal. Kung may organization ka, tapos nawawala-wala yung mga tao, not nawawala physically, pero mentally, they don't really know, ano ba talaga ginagawa ko dito? Ba't ba ako nandito? Kung may ganyan, may problema yung leadership. Kasi kailangan every single person from your most senior people to the newest people, dapat alam nila yung ginagawa nila. At alam nila na yung ginagawa nila builds up to the bigger goal. So daily, it's really talking to the people in your team. These days, I'm campaigning, so we go around a lot. We talk about what we want to see for the country. Ano yung mga nagawa na namin kasi ang pakiramdam namin, kailangan magpakilala muli kasi ang tagal ko nang wala sa Senate, no? So, reintroducing yourself, talking about what you want to do. At the same time, being ready rin to answer people's questions. Kasi these days, nakita ko marami sa mga tumatakbo, ayaw humarap sa interview, sa podcast. Kahit nga yung mabilisang ambush interview lang, umaayaw na yung mga iba They don't wanna talk. They don't wanna share what they wanna do for the country. Or maybe they're afraid na matanong sila ng mahirap na tanong, di ba? Hindi ko alam. But ako, as much as possible, we try to go around, to go out, to open ourselves up, and really show na wala kaming tinatago and we have plans that we feel will be good for the country.
Nice, nice. So you can't fake it till you make it. As much as possible.
You can fake it till you make it.
A little
Siguro
bit,
once,
maybe,
twice.
Get away with it.
Pero kung gusto mo, career mo to, or you really
Yes.
want to do something good, hindi pwede. You can't just fake it.
Right.
Some people have faked
pwede,
it.
no?
Some people have done
Pero
that.
iba talaga pag consistent ka. And
Yes.
people would feel also if
That's
you're doing your job
Such
as
a great
well.
word, though. Yung consistency, I think, is important for leadership. No, I think kung consistent ka, the people that you work with, mas kampante rin sila. Kung pabago-bago ka, or even yung emotions mo, sobrang taas, sobrang baba, nagagalit ka, or, you're angry, or you shout at people, parang kahit yung mga tao sa paligid mo, they also won't respond to that well.
Right.
Diba? So, and ako, ang paniniwala ko kasi, if your team isn't functioning, maliit talaga yung chance na aabot ka sa finish line. Everybody has to be functioning together.
I like it. Tama yung kaibigan natin sa Plato. So habits, guys. Build good habits and you'll get there wherever you want to go. Now, syempre, so na-inspire ka, na-inspire mo kami, there are a lot of people that are inspired by you. I mean, ako, just to give like a personal story, I have gotten to know you because of the NYC,
Yes.
National Youth Commission. So I was a student leader also in my own school. Sabi ko, parang galing nito ha. And I'm enjoying all the activities kasi parang, yun nga, I mean, just like what you've mentioned, di ba, na kailangan you get to join the people that you're gonna be leading. So we felt you, even if I'm from Bulacan and you're here in Manila, we feel you there. So parang it's nice to be
Thank
a
you.
part of it. So it's like a movement, di ba? And it seems like everybody is just having fun while they're doing the job. So and I think when you could actually get to do the job, when you're enjoying it, and I think yeah, it goes from top to bottom also. If they see that there's something great happening there, I mean, they will feel it and they will move also towards that direction. Now, you are inspiring. Who are the people that inspire you also? Sino ba yung mga medyo in-idolize mo rin? Like, nangyari, in-idolize kita amongst many others. Sino mga in-idol mo para i-idol din ng mga nanonood sa atin?
Talagang the person that I idolized ever since bata ako is my uncle, si Ninoy Aquino. He's really someone very important in my life. Of course, people say kamukha ko siya. Parang given na yun, di ba? Oy, kamukha niya si Ninoy, ganyan. But tanggap ko na yun, di ba? Anyway, pogi naman siya, so I will accept the compliment. But seriously, siya talaga yung tao na ever since bata ako, I really tried to understand and know more about him, yung pananaw niya sa bayan, and even yung decisions niya. Kasi he was faced with a lot of difficult decisions. And there were so many times he could have actually done something safer or something maybe even politically smarter. Pero instead, nanindigan siya. No? And, yung salitang yun, malalim nanindigan ka, di ba? And in his case, nanindigan talaga siya, even if he was in jail, even if he turned his back on a comfortable life abroad, even if pinatay siya, di ba? Parang he really made these decisions na mabibigat. And I've always tried to understand, how he came to that point, his history. So, he's someone talaga that I've idolized. No? And sometimes, kapag mahirap rin yung politika, mahirap yung sitwasyon, iniisip ko rin sometimes na what would he have done? How would he have looked at this situation?
What would Ninoy do?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there were times na in 2019, for example, I was in the opposition noong time na yon. Of course, that was the height of President Duterte's popularity. So, pag nasa kabilang side ka, mahirap talaga yon politically, di ba? And my father at that time, he said, anak, huwag ka nang tumakbo. Kasi hindi mo kayang tapatan yung ganyang klaseng popularity ng presidente. Huwag ka nang tumakbo, baka, hindi ka mananalo. Of course, di ka ako nanalo, di ba? But at that time, naisip ko, if your decision is just, mananalo ba ako hindi, di ba? Parang, hindi naman yun lang yung dapat na desisyon.
Yes.
It's also about taking a stand. And I looked at Tito Ninoy, he also ran in 1978 from jail. And he did lose during that time. Dinahaya rin siya noong time na yon. Pero tumakbo pa rin siya. Kasi he had to show na kahit marami sa mga tao, tahimik at natatakot, dapat may mga taong hindi natatakot at kayang manindigan, di ba? So, looking at his life, and I said, anyway, what's the worst that could happen? Matalo ka eh. Pwede ka na manalo, pwede ka matalo. At least, makakatulog ka sa gabi. Kasi ginawa mo yung...
You tried it.
You tried it, ginawa mo yung tingin mong tama. And at that time, I felt na somebody had to take a stand. Even if we didn't win, we had to take a stand and say, no, marami pa rin tayo dito na ito yung paniniwala. No? Hindi tayo necessarily agree sa mga nakikita natin sa bansa natin. And in 2022, when Lenny ran, it was different. Kasi at that time, ang raming lumabas. Noong 2019, it was very lonely. No? Wala masyadong nagsasalita. But in 2022, a lot of people came out and, nagulat ka na, kung may maninindigan pala, marami rin palang pwedeng ma-inspire doon at lumabas at magkatapang rin. So, he's my idol and I'm very proud to say na many of the difficult decisions sa buhay ko, iniisip ko talaga ano yung gagawin niya.
Amazing. Sobrang, yeah, you mentioned about the movement. Sobrang nakaka-inspire talaga nung pagkakataon na yun. And what is important is really, we fought the battle.
Yeah.
Somehow, we've shown the world, the people around, that there could be change. There are people willing to change and to bring change. So that is lovely. Now, syempre, yeah, I've seen you as a youth leader. So you're a former youth leader and of course, social entrepreneur. How have your experiences, shaped your vision now? Kasi nga, this time you bring all their experiences to the table and how you've seen the youth, diba? How have these experiences shaped your vision for the youth and of course employment in the Philippines in general?
Jasper, I ran when I was 35 years old, no? That's 12 years ago. But as soon as I turned 21, marami na nagtatanong, tatakbo ka ba? Diba? I mean, for lower positions, not the Senate, no? And when I turned 25, may nagtatanong, tatakbo ka ba sa Kongreso? And I always used to say, di pa ako ready eh. Parang kulang pa ako ng, ano bang alam ko? Parang ganyan, di ba? Ano bang alam ko kaya tatakbo ako, di ba? So, it took some time before I saw it in myself na may kay na akong tumakbo. Okay? And that was the time na nag-National Youth Commission ako at naging social entrepreneur ako. No? When I really worked with a lot of young people and I saw na yung bansa natin, napakaraming kabataan who just really, who can do so much, pero kulang lang talaga ng opportunities, no? Parang ang galing-galing ng kababayan natin, ng kabataan natin, napakagaling talaga, napaka-talented, masisipag, madiskarte, but yung dami ng opportunities, hindi lang talaga patas-patas sa mundong ito. Hindi siya patas sa bayan natin. So that was something that was very heavy in my heart. And then when I became a social entrepreneur, kasama ng mga microfinance organizations and like groups like Go Negosyo, we worked with sari-sari store owners, mga vendors, mga kababayan natin who, wake up at 4 a.m. every day, magdinegosyo yan, matutulog ng 11 p.m., midnight, para lang yung pamilya nila may pagkain, may pang-aral yung anak. Alam mo yon, yung parang nakita ko with my own eyes na, ang rami palang Pilipinong handang magtrabaho, handang kumayod para sa pamilya. Kulang lang talaga ng opportunities. Right. So when I saw that, that's when I decided, okay, I think I have enough experience to be able to go into politics. And I was already 35 at that time. At nung nanalo tayo, dyan nabuo si Go Negosyo Act. So the Go Negosyo Act, yung laman yan is really my experience as a social entrepreneur. Right. Kung ano yung kailangan ng mga maliliit na negosyante sa Pilipinas, di ba? Yung tulong sa financing para makautang kahit wala kang collateral. Right. Training, and of course, yung market connection, no? Na a lot of the programs of government focus on production. Right. They don't focus on the market. So marami kang produkto, di mo naman binibenta, di mo naman mabenta. Di ba? That's the problem. Kaya na-frustrate yung mga maliliit na negosyante kasi ang rami nilang stock. Hindi nila mabenta-benta. The intervention shouldn't just be sa production. The intervention should be sa market. Right. Be able to sell these products and get them to the market, di ba? Kasi that creates value. Right. At dyan pumapasok yung income ng mga pamilya, di ba? And of course, during that time, nung kausap namin yung mga sari-sari store owner and the vendors at yung mga small producers, lahat sila, ang pangarap nila, may anak sila makagraduate. Everybody would say, Sen, ginagawa ko to kasi yung anak ko gusto ko makagraduate. Diba, nag-ibang bansa kasi yung pang-edukasyon ng anak ko. Everything was about the children and yung capacity nila to finish school. Kasi it was understood, and even until now, understood naman yan, na kung makapagtapos ka, yung ability mo to earn is so much higher than kung di ka nakapagtapos. True. Diba? So it became a very common expression ng napakarami sa mga kausap namin na nais namin makapagtapos yung mga anak namin. Right. So yan naman, yung dala ko when we passed the free college law. So a lot of the things that we did in the Senate, na over 50 laws yan, many of that, hugot namin dyan, yung experience namin in the National Youth Commission and as a social entrepreneur. No? Kasi yung real life experience na yun yung gusto mo gawing actual reform through a law. Diba? And talk about the free college law, ngayon, millions na yung natulungan. And I'd like to think the effort that we put in to create that law, to write it up, to get different stakeholders to join, to go cross party lines and get support, sulit siya. Kasi ngayon, million-million na yung nakikinabang dyan. I'd like to think na million-million na rin nagkaroon ng trabaho na mas mataas yung sahod para sa pamilya nila. Diba? And for the team, yung team ko kasi ngayon, kalahati, kasama ko sa Senate, yung kalahati, mga young ones, bago na. But the ones who come from the Senate, many of them know na when we go to the schools, like yesterday, nasa Batangas State kami, Pagkausap mo yung mga estudyante, kausap mo yung mga guro, and they say, ang laki ng pagbabago dahil sa batas nyo. Ang laki ng changes dito because of that law. I'd like to think everyone in our team who was part of that effort, they feel na sulit lahat ng trabaho na ginawa nila. Kasi nakatulong talaga kami, no?
I like it. I mean, the thinking behind all the laws that you've passed, no? Talagang connected sila lahat.
Yeah.
But it's really listening to the pain points, and I think you've already been harping on the same idea of listening, of being with the people, and making sure that you answer their needs. Sobrang connected siya sa lahat. So parang yun yung mga paborito ko, yung Go Negosyo Act, and of course what you did for the students, diba, na makakapag tapos talaga sila makakapagtrabaho. Isa pang gusto ko yung pinasok sa curriculum, yung Youth Entrepreneurship Act, diba?
Yeah.
Kasi for the literacy. Kasi nung panahon ko medyo parang wala pa nun. Buti na lang dumating ka. Kasi syempre minsan hindi natin alam paano.
Unfortunately, hindi pa rin yan implemented all throughout the country. It's not yet implemented in all schools.
All right.
And we passed that law. This is the Youth Entrepreneurship Act,
Right.
mga kaibigan.
Right.
No? We passed it in 2015, 2014. And DepEd has not implemented it yet in total.
Okay.
I think na-implement niya in some areas,
Uh-huh.
pero hindi pa siya fully implemented because ang sabi ng mga DepEd sa amin noon, Sen, hirap kami magturo niyan kasi kahit yung mga teachers, hindi sila financially literate.
Right.
Marami sa mga teachers natin, baon sa utang. So sabi nila, paano kami magtuturo ng financial literacy kung yung mga teachers mismo baon sa utang, no? So, we're still hoping that when the time comes, we'll be able to implement that
Right.
in the whole country. Kasi financial literacy is a life skill na mahalaga na meron tayo even at a young age, no?
That we all need for sure. So, I mean, I would love to see that it is already fully enacted in the Philippines. I know it's going to be like a big help because we could really be independent also in making decisions also because somehow, we have the capacity to think for ourselves. And yun na naman gusto nating mangyari.
Natutunan ko rin yan. I attended a seminar once on financial literacy. And I was already a senator. Tapos sobrang mind-blown ako dun sa mga case study nila. And there was one case study in a South American country. How they taught financial literacy sa mga 6 years old. So, kinder o grade 1. So, ang ginagawa nila, of course, may paalam to sa magulang, no? But every day, maghuhulog ng, sabihin mo na kunyari, piso.
Right.
Maghuhulog ng piso, yung lahat ng mga kabataan, lahat ng mga students, may alkansya sila, hulog sila ng piso every day. Sabay-sabay.
Piso challenge.
Piso challenge. Piso. Next day, piso. Next day, piso. At the end of the semester, sabihin mo ng ilan yon, 6 months. So, makakaano ka siguro nun? Siguro, maybe 300 pesos, maybe like, diba, tama ba? 6 months, 6 times 20, 120, 120 pesos, let's say. Sabay-sabay rin nilang bubuksan yung alkansya, and sabay-sabay sila pupunta sa co-op or yung bookstore or whatever, and then the kids choose what they want to buy. Diba? To understand na, pag nag-iipon ka, eventually, mabibili mo yung gusto mo.
Yeah.
And some of the kids will buy snacks, some of the kids will buy books, some of the kids will buy candy, chocolate, ballpen, kung ano man. Pero yung point nung lesson was, if you save, you will eventually be able to buy something.
Right.
So simple, right? But that's how they taught financial literacy in that country.
Right.
And then, habang tumatanda, of course, nagiging mas complicated. By the time they reach grade 11, grade 12, may mga negosyo na sila. So even at a young age, nag-negosyo na yung mga bata. Diba? I mean, and just the simple idea of selling and accepting money and buying and paying your supplier, diba? Even yung ganun kasimple, income versus revenue, parang all those lessons really help their students understand how to handle money.
Right.
Sa bansa natin, pare, as soon as gumraduate ka, offeran ka ng credit card, within 6 months, oversubscribe, anong tawag doon?
Yes.
Overspending ka na sa credit card mo, na hindi mo alam na 3% per month yung interest rate mo doon, di ba?
So, may utang ka na kagad.
May utang ka na kagad, baon ka na kagad. Di ka pa nga nakakatrabaho ng 2 taon, baon ka na sa utang. Because hindi naiintindihan yung basics of that, di ba? So,
Right.
it was a really good law, hindi pa rin siya implemented. Kaya, guys, we have to make sure ma-implement yan. Youth Entrepreneurship
Let's
Act
go.
of 2014.
Super excited na makita yung implementation kasi sobrang laki talaga ng magagawa, especially for us. I mean, kahit ako, di ba? Parang later on ko na lang talaga natutunan how to take care of my money, pero kung maaga pa lang naturo na sa atin yun, di ba? Baka lahat kagad tayo pagka-graduate, baka milyonaryo na.
And, sa TikTok, one of the top parang areas di ba kasi marami iba't ibang area of ano
Mm.
yan, di ba? Parang topics.
Yes.
Yung isa sa top sa TikTok sa Pilipinas is about handling money. Kasi nga, feeling ko kulang talaga yung lessons niyan,
Yes.
di ba, in our schools, no?
So, kumbaga hinahanap din talaga ng mga tao.
Hindi nila mahanap sa school, hinahanap sa TikTok.
Sa TikTok. Sana naman tama yung mga nasa TikTok, ladies and
Sana.
gentlemen. Let's be
Sana.
responsible also when we post. But you've mentioned about, community building also, and, having people take part also in the initiatives. How did you, of course, you're a social entrepreneur and you've been very active for the youth as well. Pero paano mo ginather naman yung private companies and also NGOs in taking part on all the laws that you have passed and all the initiatives that you're pushing for?
Yeah. It's important to really bring all the stakeholders together. Yung best example ko dyan, when we passed the free college law, nung una, ayaw talaga ng mga private schools. As in, talagang they were really objecting to it. And I guess at that time, naisip nila, kung gawin mong libre yung state university, baka mawalan sila ng clientele.
Yeah.
No, but we were telling them naman na that's really not gonna happen kasi hindi naman infinite yung number of slots sa ating SUCs.
Right.
But eventually, as we were doing more of the research and coming together, lumabas na marami ring estudyanteng nangangailangan na nasa private universities. Kasi tayo, when we think of private universities, we think of Ateneo, LaSalle. But the truth is, mas maraming private universities sa Pilipinas na ang clientele nila, yun talagang nangangailangan.
Right.
So eventually, the law accommodated students in private universities na nangangailangan kahit sila. They can also get support from government, from the free college law. So the free college law supports your SUCs, your state universities, your local universities, which are universities run by cities and municipalities, and your students in private universities na pasok sa income range na nangangailangan.
Right.
And it was by bringing people together na lumabas yun. 'Di ba? Kung naging for state universities lang siya, marami ka ring di matutulungan na nasa private universities, no? But you're right, you have to bring people together, give everybody a voice. Don't be so judgmental right away, 'di ba? Huwag kayong masyadong judgmental. And talagang ilabas yan yung mga different concerns. And by bringing people together, at least sa legislation, mas gumaganda rin yung legislation. Mas nagiging responsive siya, no?
All right. So I know that there are, syempre, we try to measure also the successes that you have. But could you share with us the current numbers, I suppose, in terms of measuring the success of your programs for the youth and, of course, for employment?
Yeah, so for the free college law, ano na yan, no? Anywhere from 5 to 6 million ang nakagraduate since
Dami ko nakikita
2017.
Online also, nagpapasalamat.
It's been 7 years since we passed the law. So for the past 7 years, million-million na yan, yung nakakuha ng tulong dyan. And of course, yung current set of students who are currently enrolled and still in freshman, second, and third year, they're also accepting the benefits of that law. Iba pa yung mga nakakatanggap ng scholarship sa mga private universities. So that's a huge, huge law that I know siguro when I'm retired, hopefully tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung batas na yan. And it's a landmark law in the sense na not all countries actually have free college. In America, pinag-aawayan pa rin nila yan yung Republicans sa Democrats. Pero dito, nagawa na natin, di ba? And before I came to the Senate, 30 years na rin yan pinagalaban. Student leader pa lang ako in 1997 and 1999. Yan na yung issue ng mga tao. Nag-rally yung mga tao for free college, di ba? So, we were able to do that, no? And hopefully, it will continue to be funded at pataas yung pondo.
Right.
Kasi this year, the funding was actually cut by a few billion pesos, no? Kaya kailangan talaga ng champion doon sa Senate para ipaglaban yung pondong yan, siguraduhin na the funding becomes bigger every year at hindi siya bumababa.
Yeah, and I think also, so we've talked about the measurement, pero I think interesado yung mga tao na nakikinig, nanonood ngayon. Syempre, how do we show them? How do we become transparent also? Para syempre in terms of accountability, it could be measured and people could see it. What are the mechanisms that you put in place para makita ng mga tao na to ginagawa talaga natin to? Because I think yun yung mahalaga ngayon especially in the age of social media, 'di ba? Parang naghahanap lahat ng resibo.
Yeah.
So ano yung mga mapapakita natin?
For the free college law, you simply have to enroll. No, if you're enrolled in a state university at accepted ka, for 4 years, libre na yan. Initially, ang gusto ng mga ibang senador, every year mag-a-apply ka ulit for scholarship. And the students, of course, said, please, wag naman. na every year mag-a-apply ka because eventually, magiging harassment yan, magiging palakasan, favoritism.
Right.
So, we tried to make it as simple as possible. If you enroll in a state university or local university, nakapasok ka, 4 years na yan. And then, of course, may mga academic requirements yung school. Huwag ka naman bumagsak, di ba, kung baka ma-kick out ka. But let's say na-delay ka, you are still able to get the support up to 5 years. So, of course, we want you to finish in 4 years, but life happens, baka may mangyari. But you can have up to 5 years of support. Kahapon, sa Batangas State, yung tanong ng mga estudyante, what if may kaya naman yung estudyante? Diba? In the law, may opt-out clause doon. You can choose to opt out. And I said, kung nagmamaneho ka ng BMW papunta sa eskwelahan mo, siguro naman kaya mo magbayad ng tuition, diba? You can opt out. But we did that, na opt-out siya rather than yung administration yung nagsasabi na tanggal ka na. Kasi again, we were very conscious about favoritism and harassment.
Right.
No, na kung hindi ka type nung mga official doon, baka tanggalan ka bigla ng scholarship, di ba? I mean, these things happen. No? So, we wanted to avoid that and make it as simple and straightforward as possible. You know, sa politics kasi, bibigyan ka lang ng konting tulong, nandun pa yung mukha ng mayor dun sa sobre, di ba? And kaya siguro ko hindi magaling na politiko kasi ang ginawa namin the reverse. Lahat ng tulong na dapat sa'yo, mabibigay sa'yo, hindi ka na kailangan tumambling-tumbling para makuha mo yung tulong mo. Hindi ka kailangan sumipsip, pumila ng napakahabang oras para sa tulong na dapat naman sa'yo talaga.
Right.
So we really made this law as much as possible, as open and as easy to get for our students. Kasi the belief of the law, yung intention ng batas, kung kabataan kang Pilipino at nais mong mag-aral, dapat may tulong yung gobyerno sa'yo para makapagtapos ka. It's a very basic belief, di ba? Na core belief na yan. Because it's a law, it becomes a core belief of our country. And when that law was passed in 2017, suddenly, nagkaroon ka ng path in the Philippines, pwede ka mag-K-12, pwede ka mag-college na wala kang binabayaran. Diba? I mean, can you imagine that? That's something, malalim yun ha. In my country, I can go from kinder to grade 12 and go to tertiary na wala akong binayaran tuition fee. And it says a lot if the country itself is willing to fund that and willing to support it. Diba?
Amazing. I mean, somehow, siguro naranasan mo yun, Sen, diba? Na, well, to have scholarships along the way. But, syempre, hindi mo naman may expect na lahat ng mga Pilipino, in terms of academic excellence, could reach a certain level to give you scholarship. But, you know, if the government could provide that, diba? What it would be like a very, very nice country, very progressive. Kasi, kumbaga, you already have the capability as a country to, you know, make people empowered just because they're given the right to information, to knowledge.
Noon kasi, ang scholarship is given either academic scholarship, sports scholarship. So you have to be talagang sobrang talino or you have to be very gifted sa sports, diba, to get these scholarships. By opening this up and allowing a path na libre yan, you're really opening it up to more Filipino youth. And that was the idea, no? Basta ikaw may, you know, you might not be the most intelligent, you might not be the handsomest, you might not be the most physically gifted, pero kung nais mo mag-aral, willing kang magtrabaho, matutulungan ka. 'Di ba? I mean, for me, ang ganda ng ibig sabihin nun, 'di ba? That the government will support you as long as you're willing to work hard, 'di ba?
Bamakino, when we say Bamakino, anong legacy niyan for the Philippines and the world?
Well, I think kung laws, it's the free college law, no? Pero in terms of being a politician, I hope that you know, retirement na pinag-uusapan natin dito.
Hindi pa naman. Hindi pa naman. Pero at least ito, babalik-balikan to. Episode na to, di ba? Later on, baka i-munch on by the youth of
2035.
Yes,
okay.
Makita nila. Tapos, uy, totoo, sinabi niya yun sa episode na to.
Okay, ito, sasabihin ko to. I'm hoping na, you know, when you talk about, ano ba nagawa ng taong to? May maniname ka talaga. Negosyo Act, Free College Law, Microfinance Act, di ba? Things na alam ko, napasa natin yan, and nakatulong talaga sa tao. Amazing. I hope that's what people remember.
I love that, for sure. And of course, guys, a lot of insights already in. We're going to be taking a little break. See you in a bit right here in Built Different.
JCI Manila actively supports the restaurant and food service industry through various initiatives like Business Networking Night and Training 2023. On April 27, 2023, JCI Manila and JCI Metro area hosted a networking event at Under the Balete. This gathering provided professionals, including those from the restaurant sector, an opportunity to exchange ideas and build valuable relationships. Visit jcimanila.org to know more.
The Built Different podcast would like to thank Henry's Cameras, Power Mac, Hollyland, Ugreen Philippines, Kappa Cabina, Surge Digital Media, Madcap Productions, Days Media Group, Jazz Up Communications.
All right, we're back right here in Built Different, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be challenging our guest for today, Senator Bam. We're going to be doing different, same, different, kasi we could have, different answers here. May similarities din tayo, diba? But then we'd love to hear from you, your top 5 stuff.
Okay.
We have different categories. Let us begin. Top 5 OPM songs. Yeah.
Okay, so
With sample. Ay, joke.
today, ang hilig ko today is yung Palagi.
Oy,
Okay.
gusto ko rin yan.
Oo.
Si ano yan?
TJ?
TJ
no?
Monterde.
And KZ.
Yes.
TJ and KZ, di ba? But kung classics ang pinag-uusapan, I would go with Eraserhead songs and River Maya songs. So,
Alright.
maybe Alapaap,
Aha.
Pare Ko, ano pa ba? Sembreak. May Sembreak. Medyo Eraserheads yan. Or kung River Maya, ano ba?
90s
Kisap
tayo.
Mata.
Kisap pa, nakalima na.
Lima na ba yun?
Kisap Mata.
Oo. Basta,
So yung ba ng sample?
Eraserheads, no, please. No. Eraserheads, River Maya, sa mga 90s, di ba?
90s. Oh, at may nasali na Palagi. Ayan.
Oo.
Nice. Top 5 books na you
Top
could
5
recommend.
books. Okay, I'll go for, so fiction and non-fiction. Kung fiction muna, no, fiction, Lord of the Rings. I'm a super Lord of the Rings fan. Yes, you if you know, you know. Sa mga nanonood.
Lord of the Rings.
Godfather, of course, Mario Puzo. Ano ba yung mga fiction books ko? Mga Stephen King.
Ooh,
So the Dark
yeah.
Tower series, may mga gumagano'n dito sa
Yung mga nabasa
fantasy and sci-fi. And then sa mga non-fiction naman, biographies. I like biographies of Pope Francis, biographies of Barack Obama, Bill Clinton. Yan yung mga
From your
paborito
stories,
ko.
no?
Yeah, stories of real people, stories
Right.
of leaders, even like Eisenhower, kahit mga ganyan, binabasa ko yan. No? So, a lot of biographies, then pag science fiction and fantasy, Lord of the Rings yan, tsaka Dark Tower of Stephen King.
Yeah. Top 5 Pinoy food. Lutumin natin ang
lechong
sarili
kawali.
natin.
Ito lang, top 5 kaya kong lutuin.
Okay. Uy!
Adobo. Okay, adobo. Kasi there was, in 2023, may fellowship ako sa Amerika, 4 months. Mahal ng pagkain doon, pare. So, talaga nagluluto ako doon. So, ito yung mga niluto ko doon. Adobo, sinigang. Yung dalawa pa lang yun, para ano na yan, 80% of the time na
Anong
yun.
klaseng sinigang yan?
Siyempre, baboy.
Baboy.
Adobo, baboy rin yan. May kaya ng
Yung
manok.
Tuyo, mamasamas. Anong klaseng luto yan?
Mamasa-masa, pero after a while, kapag mina-microwave mo na, natutuyo na siya ng konti, di ba? So, adobo, sinigang, salpikaw, na hindi ko na-realize, simple rin lang pala.
Parang adobo
Diba?
lang, may tweak lang ng konti.
May, alam mo, lahat naman may konting tweak lang pala, no? Basta mag-start ka lang sa garlic, di ba? Tortang talong. Tortang talong and lechon kawali. Yan yung mga niluto ko sa
Ayan,
Amerika.
next time, mapapatikim na tayo ng mga luto ni Sen Bama. Eto na, top 5 leaders of any generation.
Any generation. Okay, so I'll say, of course, Ninoy Aquino is my first one there. Top 1 ko yan. Bill Clinton is one of my favorite na American leaders. Reagan, para naman balance, may Democrat tsaka
Yes.
Republican, di ba? Lincoln.
Alright.
It's a very interesting person also. Ramon Magsaysay.
Yan.
It's another Filipino president na very, very interesting yung history niya.
Amazing. All right. And as we wrap up this episode, Sen, Bam, ano bang mensahe mo to all our listeners or viewers right here in Built Different?
Firstly, thank you, Jasper.
Thank you.
Salamat.
Thank you.
And thank you also to JCI Manila for having me here and allowing me to talk so much, no? Maraming salamat.
Kulang pa nga.
Kulang pa ba?
Nabitin kami.
Mga kaibigan, we need your help. Kailangan po namin ng tulong po ninyo. Hindi naman po bago ang JCI sa akin. I was also a TOYM awardee in
That's right.
2010, if I'm not mistaken, or 2011. Medyo matagal na. But the JCs, of course, is such a great organization of young people na nagmamahal talaga sa ating bayan. And kung naghanap po kayo ng mga pwede pong kapartner at pwede pong katono doon po sa Senado, sana po matulungan niyo ako. Asking for your help, Bam Aquino po.
Leadership by example, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you got a lot of insights and you have something to take away and apply in your own lives. Once again, Senator Bam, maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
God bless us. And of course, my name is Jasper Tiongson. See you again in our next episode of Built Different.
Yahoo!
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sen.
Thank you.
Maraming
The
salamat.
Built Different podcast would like to thank Henry's Cameras, Power Mac, Hollyland, Ugreen Philippines, Kappa Cabina, Surge Digital Media, Madcap Productions, Days Media Group, Jazz Up Communications,